In a world that's searching for truth and light, we gather stories to share inside. Authors with wisdom, their voices ring. In the exchange show, we bring hope and guidance. Welcome to the exchange, where stories unfold. Faith and inspiration are treasures to behold. The words and wisdom, our spirits grow. Join us on this journey on the exchange show.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Exchange Show, where stories unfold. So thank you so much for joining us. I am your host, Berthanna Oxendine, and I thank God we are here together today on the Exchange Show. Listen, go ahead and like and share and invite someone to watch with you right here on Facebook or on YouTube. And all the links you will need to become a part of our networking community, they are listed in the description of this video. So here at the Exchange Show, I had the awesome privilege of talking to some of God's gifted authors and hearing their story. They bring a message of hope, faith, love, and guidance, but in different situations. So please support the authors by purchasing a copy of their book and then sharing the show information on all your social media platforms. And I do believe if each one helps one, then we all will be successful. So to tell you some things about myself, I am Berthanna Oxendine. I am a certified life coach. I am an encourager, a pastor, a mother, and an international best-selling author. So let's go ahead and bring our guest on. And our guest today is Miss Carrie West.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to have to call you Miss Berthanna, though. I have to. I love that. I love that.
So let me see something here. I'm looking at this and trying to make sure I have this correct because I want them to be able to see you. Okay. So the title of your book is Life Rewritten. Life rewritten. But before we get into the book, I'm going to let Miss Carrie tell you some things about herself.
Well, thank you, Miss Berthanna. I am Carrie West. It's wonderful to be here. I am the author of Life Rewritten. It was my journey. I had started writing a few years ago, and I started calling it Memoir of an Ordinary Person. When the editor read it, she said, first of all, you're not an ordinary person. And second of all, no one's going to get a book that wants to know about being ordinary. Everybody feels ordinary anyway. So I had the great fortune of working in the entertainment industry. And I remembered that every day when you went on the set, the first thing the script supervisor would say or the director would say is, where's today's rewrites? Where's our new pages? Where's our rewrites? Because every time they do a movie or a story, you change it. You change it every day because something changes. Something happens. You get to know the characters better. You know the situation better. You understand the journey better. The motivations come out. So I thought, well, shoot, I'm rewriting my life every day.
Yes.
So
yes.
Life Rewritten was born.
Well, I love that. I've really enjoyed reading your book. Since being in Austin, I was trying to take care of that. And I when I look at the title, Life Rewritten, it just kind of blew me away because my mind started going everywhere. How are you gonna rewrite your life?
Well, it is an interesting concept, and it's a new one, and that's where I've been a narrative coach. I call myself a narrative coach because I feel like I'm a life story coach. I help people see the stories in their life. You know, we have characters, we have themes, we have motivations. But as the protagonist, you're on this journey, and the journey forms you to be the best person you can be.
Yes.
You are given challenges and crises because there's something about your journey you need to get back on track,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So
That's
when
it.
you can, instead of getting all and thinking that life hates you and you hate life, say,
Mm-hmm.
what's life trying to tell me? Or as you
Yes.
would say, what's God trying to tell me?
Yes. Yes.
What's
Mm-hmm.
the message I'm being given?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you understand that, you have this peace come over you,
Oh, yes.
and you can change it then, and you can write a different ending.
Amen. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And I realized that um, not only with your writing the book, and you were a storyteller as well.
Oh yeah. I am a storyteller. In fact, I for all of you listening, I had told Berthanna before the show, I'm a big storyteller. You may have to give me this sign to shut up a bit because I'll go on. I can tell a story. Um, yeah, I think we all are storytellers. That's how we know each other.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you meet somebody and it's like, what's your story? You don't say that, but
Right.
you know, I was at a
Mm-hmm.
wedding, a friend's wedding, and because friends sat at the friends table, so you don't know
Mm-hmm.
anybody else at the table, right? So what do you start off
Mm-hmm.
with? Oh, how do you know Mary? How do you know Joe? How do you know Bill?
Right. Right.
And it's like, well, I'm a friend of hers from work. Oh, I met her at work too. What do you do? Bum, 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 bum. So you find your story, you find the connect. If you
Mm-hmm.
say to them, I was Mary's neighbor when she was 2 years old, it's like, I don't know how to connect with that. That's not my story with Mary. So
Mm-hmm.
so we use stories.
Yeah.
We live by stories. It's
Mm-hmm.
a way to validate who we are
Yes.
and get validation in. It's a way for somebody to say, "Oh, I know you,"
Mm-hmm.
or "I know about you because of a shared
Mm-hmm.
experience."
Mm-hmm. And then also, like you said, share experience of the story that somebody is telling about you, but also they may meet you in one part of your life, and they may see one story,
Mhm.
but then later on they may meet you, and it's been a whole different story has
Yep.
begun to happen.
Yep. Yep. When some of my friends read the book, they didn't know
Mhm.
about my beginnings.
Yes.
They did not know that I almost died as a child a couple times because
Hmm.
my mom rejected me,
Yeah.
and she didn't put me up for adoption.
Hmm.
She felt that she had to raise me. She gave birth to me. That's what she had to do.
Hmm.
She didn't take care of me. So people didn't know this about me,
Hmm.
because they're seeing me now a few decades later
Hmm.
and much healed and much
Yes.
changed and
Hmm.
resolved. So there's a happiness in my life that really wasn't there for the first 20, 30 years.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
So that's what I mean. If I could change from that,
Hmm.
and it's amazing to me how many people related to that, how many
Yes.
people had a traumatic experience in their childhood that they didn't know how to go beyond.
That's correct. Like you said, you felt that you was rejected by your mom from birth,
Yeah.
uh, and I can relate to that. I felt that, but as my years have went on in life, I I, I felt that, but I understand why she did some of the things that she did toward me,
Hmm.
and why she didn't give me some of the things that I felt that I should have. I understood it better.
Yeah.
First, I just thought, oh, she's just mean. She don't, she's rejected me and she doesn't care. But as I got older, I
Yeah.
began to see it differently.
Hmm. Perspective.
Yes. Hmm.
Perspective in storytelling is really
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
Perspective. Put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when
Yes.
my parents died when I was in my early 20s.
Hmm.
And for years, I was still holding on to blaming them and the anger and the
Yes.
pain.
Oh
And,
my.
and I said, hold on a second.
Hmm.
they're not here anymore.
Yes, yes,
Do I
yes.
want to keep in that space, or do I want to dig in and see what happened? And
Mhm,
I
mhm.
discovered some things about
Yeah.
my mom, and
Uh-huh.
she had terrible, terrible challenges. She had
Yeah.
mental health issues.
Mhm.
She was one of 13 kids. Her parents didn't have kids because they wanted to have a large family. They had them because they became workers on the farm. They were immigrants.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
this isn't about oh, I want to be a loving mother and raise beautiful children. I need
Mhm.
workers. So she had these stories that her parents gave her
Yes.
that they got from their parents,
Mhm.
and she did not have any skills. They don't give you an owner's manual when you have a baby.
Okay.
And they don't tell you how to be a good parent. They don't even know what a good
Mhm.
parent is. Can somebody please give me a definition of a good parent? I don't even have a definition of it. You're a
Right.
mom. You're a
Yes.
mom. You have a definition of it?
No way.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
No, I don't either. And I'm not a mom. I'm a stepmom now, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not a mom. But
Uh-huh.
I'm different with my stepson than I think I would have been with my own kids because it's a different
Yes.
relationship. But
Mhm.
I understand that connection with a child. I
Mhm.
do. I do. And I know how I really do believe this is one thing I'm going to say, and I believe this completely. I believe that there isn't an evil bone in anybody's body. I
Okay.
believe we are born for goodness and grace
Yes.
and
Mhm.
happiness and ease.
Mhm.
And somewhere along the line, life became really painful and troublesome and difficult. And it
Uh-huh.
wasn't meant to be that way.
No, it wasn't, most definitely. I don't like I agree with you what meant to be that way. Um I believe that, God, when he allowed each one of us to be born, he had a purpose for each one of us to be here.
Mhm.
And some of the things that I went through with my mother later when I got older and began to understand, a lot of times I thought she was being mean or rejecting me. Um, she gave me what I needed for that time to help me become who I am today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because sometimes we think, well, you're treating this and better than you're treating me, but she gave me what I needed to help me today. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
today I can look back and appreciate her so much.
Yeah. And
And
and that's a good point to make.
mhm,
You can look at it as, I would not be the person I am today if it weren't for those first 20 years of my life.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
mhm,
they were difficult. Yeah, they were hard,
mhm,
but I wouldn't be who I am right now.
right.
And
Mhm.
when I discovered about my parents' story,
Yes.
I felt a lot of compassion for what they went through.
Yes.
My parents are
Mhm,
first generation Americans.
mhm,
They were born in the 1920s, so they grew up in the Depression. So
mhm.
they had so much going on. Yeah, we have COVID. They had the Depression. So
Right.
my step my stepson said to me when COVID happened, he said, "Have you ever lived through anything like this?" I said, "Oh my God, dude, life doesn't give you the same challenges over and over." But when I was growing up, we had the civil rights movement. They were shooting
Mhm.
kids on college campuses. My parents had
Right.
the Great Depression. You just learn to go with what life is and stay true in your heart and stay focused on what works for you. So
Mhm.
so we all have our stuff.
Our
And
stuff. That's right.
yeah, nobody gets out of
Mhm.
there here unscathed. We're all scathed. There's we're scathed. So you roll with it, but it gave me the space to have compassion and forgiveness for my parents.
Mhm. Great. So that's what, when I looked at your title, Life Rewritten,
Mhm.
and way I would have wrote my story, say about 20 something, about say 50 years ago. If I would have wrote it, I would have wrote it one way. But if I had to rewrite it today, and which I
Mhm.
feel that every day we're writing, you know,
Yep.
it would be a different story.
Absolutely.
It'd be a different
Absolutely.
story.
Absolutely.
And
The
so,
the the key is to know that you're in charge of the ending and
uh-huh.
you can write that happy ending.
Right. Amen. And I noticed in your book, you talked about forgiveness and about turning the page,
Yep.
not
Yep.
staying there, not
For,
staying in that unforgiveness state.
forgiveness is the greatest gift we've been given, and it's the least used.
Yes.
We should practice forgiveness every day. Our own forgiving ourselves,
Uh-huh.
giving ourselves for our own mistakes. Because I think we're harder on ourselves than we're ever harder on anybody else. And
Mhm.
so if we don't forgive ourselves, we're not going to let ourselves have open hearts and
Right.
let ourselves receive the beauty and the bounty that this world is for us.
Yes. And I think it is so important, like you said, to forgive ourselves. And then also, like you're saying, them forgiving others, because when we're holding them like that, that's just causes us problems,
Yeah.
That's,
Forgiveness keeps us imprisoned. My
yeah.
my parents were gone. You know,
Uh-huh.
that me being angry with them and blaming them was only hurting me. It was holding me back. They were off another plane. You know, they were
Mm-hmm. And it's
so
nothing that they could go change,
eh,
but it's something, like you said, we can change, we can rewrite.
we can change our perspective, we can understand, and
Mhm.
we can move forward.
That is so true. Well, we're going to break right here, and we're going to take a quick break right here, and then we'll be right back.
Today's sponsor is Open Door Tabernacle Training Center, a church of love. They are located at 522 Wilson Avenue, Johnson City, Tennessee. You are welcome to join each Sunday at 11 a.m. For more information, you can email them at odttc1@gmail.com.
Well, welcome back. We have our special guest today on the Exchange Show, Mrs. Carrie West, and her book is Life Rewritten. Life Rewritten. And we were just talking about forgiving, and how, every day you're rewriting that story. You don't have to, the way it started off, it doesn't have to end that way, in your life. You
Yep.
can rewrite that story and have the end that, maybe you dreamed of, the end that you that God wants you to have.
Yep.
And also, Miss Carrie, I seen in there you're talking about grief, and you had a section in there that was talking about grief. It's not just losing someone you love.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know why I never thought about that we go through grieving for other things that we lose as well.
Yep. Yep. When you change something in your life,
Yeah.
and a great example is if you're single and then you're married,
Uh-huh.
you gave up your single life. When you're married, it's a whole different experience, isn't it? When you
Yes,
become
it
a
is.
partner,
Yes, it is.
when you attach yourself to another human being,
Mm-hmm.
you've changed something.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to say thank you and grieve
Mm-hmm.
the single life you had,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
know that it's always a part of you. Just
Mm-hmm.
like when somebody passes, they're still a
Yeah,
part of you.
it's still apart. Yes.
They're just in a different time space. I don't know where they are, but you grieve it. You grieve that
Mm-hmm.
change. When you have
Mm-hmm.
a child, you grieve being a lone person, and now all of a sudden you have a family. That's a whole nother level of changing.
Yes, that's true. Uh-huh.
So there's so many things that when we make, especially big life changes,
Yes.
we need to recognize that the old life, it's the same with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I grieved for my younger self. I grieved for my
Yes.
child self, and was grateful for her and thanked her for her determination to get me here.
Mm-hmm.
Because she could have done a lot of things, and she could have
Yes.
checked out. I had a cousin 10 years old, my best friend. She was my exact age. She died when we were 10.
Mm-hmm.
We had similar upbringings because her mom was my mom's sister, and they all felt the same way about stuff. But I had to grieve that childhood. I had to thank those parts of me that
Right.
were willing to go through what they went through to get me here.
Right.
But I had to grieve it too. I had to say, I'm going to let you go now.
Right. You have to
I'm
let
going
it
to
go.
let you go.
Mhm.
I'm not going to keep playing this over. And in fact, when I tell this story in my book, somebody called me crying, said, I can't believe you went through that. And you just tell it like it's very flat. You don't have emotions. I don't feel any self-pity from you. I don't feel anything. I said, that's because I grieved it and let it go.
Mhm.
And
Right.
now it's just another story.
Right. You didn't stay in it. You come out of it.
Came out of it. And that's a part of the grieving process. I think we forget that. We
Yes.
forget to acknowledge when you move a house. My sister moved this beautiful home she had, and she had to sell it because she was getting divorced and she had to
Mhm.
move out. And she was so upset. And I said, let's go to every room and take a picture of every room and remember something in that room that you remembered about the house. And that'll
Mhm.
help you grieve it so you can let it go.
You can
Because
let it go.
if we hold on to all these things, we're really
Um,
weighted down, aren't we?
yes. Yes, you definitely would be. So you have to release it. And when you release it, something better comes.
Absolutely.
Something
Absolutely.
better comes. And I noticed something you had written in your book. It says, this book is your guide, but the journey is yours.
Yeah.
The book
Yep.
is, and it got your book does, because I seen some of the different steps that you had in there. In rewriting your story, you gave 7 steps that you can use in rewriting your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always encourage people to write their story. Don't write mine.
Right.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
one of those steps doesn't apply to you.
Mm-hmm.
I tried
Mm-hmm.
to be comprehensive, but
Right.
I also encourage you to come up with some creative new thing I didn't think of. And every once in a while I get an email from somebody and say, "Well, I tried this and this is what happened." It's like, "Dang, great idea. Can I put that in my next book?" I didn't think of that one. You know, I'm a storyteller. I worked in the entertainment industry. I know how, you structure a story, but there's still more to add. There's still more
Yes.
that
Yes.
goes on. We're complex beings. We're beautiful
Mhm,
souls and
mhm.
complex beings. I'm glad we're not a one size fit all. I want you to find your way and embrace your
Right.
beauty. Don't try to be me. It wouldn't fit.
Right. And then I just love it how you share it over and over again. It keeps coming. You don't have to stay where you're at. You don't. If you're in a rut or had a crazy life, you don't have to stay there.
No, you really
And
don't.
and to me, that with the title, Life Rewritten. You have to look at this, like you said, it's your journey. And if you feel that it's not where you'd like it to be, change it,
Yeah.
rewrite it, you know. And
And I also want to say, I have absolutely no judgments. If
mhm,
people are content and
mhm.
really are okay with their life is, kudos.
Okay.
Kudos. This is not to say you have to do something.
Mhm.
This is about honoring your journey. And if you do want something else, here's some
That's
steps you can take. You
right.
don't have
Right.
to.
Right.
You don't have to. You can just
That's
read about my crazy mother. That's okay.
right. But I feel every day as we live, I think, every day, myself, every day,
Hmm.
I want to drop off what ain't good for me.
Yeah.
I ask God to let it go, because I
Yeah.
know He has better for me,
Yeah.
especially if it's something that's hurting me or something that's not good for me,
Yeah.
And I know from the very beginning, as I was saying, that when He sent us to here, when He allowed us to be born, He does have a plan and a purpose, but I have to seek His face to get the direction that He wants me to go in, and be willing to go in that direction, and don't walk in a I know it all state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't nobody know like I know. I know what's best for myself. And I realized I didn't know what was best for myself, and a lot of mistakes that I made. I wouldn't have made the mistakes that I made.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I hear when you're saying these words, Berthana, is surrender.
Yeah.
Can
Yes.
you surrender
Yes.
and just trust that you're covered.
Yeah.
You're
You know,
covered.
and our show, the Exchange Show, and that was one of the things. Well, from our book is called The Exchange, and it's given up our will to receive God's power,
Mm-hmm.
letting go of what we want to receive what He wants for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the Exchange Show, comes from our book, The
Yeah.
Exchange.
Yeah.
But in the Exchange, as in your book, to me, where it says life rewritten, you exchanging from how you may have felt, say, when I was 20 to my age now at 70.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I, I has changed how I looked at my mother, or how I looked at some things, and began to understand things differently. I'm begin to mature,
Yep. Yep.
and realize I don't have to stay in that unforgiveness state. I don't have to stay in that rejection state. I can rewrite this. I can
Oh
have
yeah.
another ending. And so let me
Absolutely.
ask you something, Miss Carrie. If someone wanted to purchase your book, how would they be able to purchase that book?
You can either go on Amazon, look up Life Rewritten and get it from Amazon, or you can get it from my website at carriecasey.west.com. I see you have it scrolling there across the bottom.
Yes.
So you can get it there, or you can get it on Amazon. And I know bookstores will order it for you, but it's faster if you go to my site or to Amazon, and they'll get it for you.
Okay. And I understand that you're writing some more books.
I am. The when I wrote Life Rewritten, again, it was supposed to be my memoir, but then I realized that I was challenging the messages that we've been given that tell us we're not good, or we're bad or evil people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, that's an overview. Life Rewritten is an overview. So
Mm-hmm.
now I've got 2 that have to be done by the end of the year.
Okay.
Money Rewritten. And
Okay.
money Rewritten talks about our faulty messages around money, and how
Okay.
so many people have given their power away to money, that
Mm-hmm.
money will do everything for them. Money's just an energy. It's an exchange of value for value. Stop making it in charge of your life. And
Yes.
then Love Rewritten,
Oh,
which
okay.
talks about, the truth is, we're love. There's
Yes.
we fight this, and
Mm-hmm.
we keep looking outside ourselves for love. And where is this
Mm-hmm.
love? I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner. I don't know what love is. Yes, you do. You're love.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Find
Yes,
your
we are.
love. Find your own sense of love. So Money Rewritten and Love Rewritten are going to be out the
Amen.
first quarter of next year.
Well, the greatest love I know is the love of Christ. Like a song says, I looked all over, I couldn't find nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody greater than the love I received from Christ. But we have about 2 more minutes. Let me ask you one thing.
Sure.
What would you like your audience, for those that purchase your book, what is one thing that you want them to gain from there?
I just want you to know and be inspired to live your best self.
Okay.
We live in challenging times where people don't accept each other, and there's a lot of divisiveness. I,
Mm-hmm.
I accept everybody, because everybody has a story.
Yes.
And who am I to judge their story?
Amen.
So I want everybody to find that inner peace and that inner
Mhm.
sense of who they are, because they're really a good person in there. They really
Yes,
are.
most definitely.
They really are.
Mm-mm. Well, Miss
I
Carrie
hope.
West.
Well, let me ask you though before we go.
Okay.
Did you get that sense of peace when you read it? Did you feel, I know you seem
Yes.
very energized about it, but
Yes. Yes, I did, because it caused me to look deeper at myself. When you was talking about your mom, and then it made me to think back about my situations with my mom, the rejection I felt, and all of that and everything. But let me realize now my story had changed. So,
Mhm.
when the title of the book, Life Rewritten, today, as I said, you helped me to run. If I would write now,
Yeah.
it'd be life rewritten, my life rewritten in a better way than
Yeah.
what I looked at it years ago. So I
Yeah.
would encourage anybody to, go ahead and purchase um, Mrs. Carrie's book, Life Rewritten. because then you're able to really look within yourself
Yes.
and say, let me look at that again.
Yeah.
I can change that story. That story
Yeah.
can be changed. So
Good.
that's a wrap for today, for this episode of the Exchange Show. So thank you again to our guests and each one of you. So until next time, God bless you abundantly, and to the next show of the Exchange Show. Thank you.
Faith and inspiration are treasures to behold. Through words and wisdom, our spirits grow. Join us on this journey on the Exchange Show. Hope in the whispers, guidance in the prose, faith in the stories where the heart knows. A tapestry of voices woven with care. In every episode it is a blessing to share. Welcome to the Exchange, where stories unfold.